There's a movie that we've all seen a number of times, probably, called Back to the Future, that was directed by Robert Zemeckis, who made a whole lot of really great movies.
He had a string in the 80s. I mean, Back to the Future is one of the great popcorn movies. Forrest Gump was a huge hit, whether you liked it or not, but that was a monster movie. And a bunch of other things. What was the one? The Tom Hanks, is it the one where he's on an island? What's that one called? Castaway.
Yes. Yeah. Waiting for Zemeckis to come back.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he had a style that I think fit the time. It was this sort of super glossy Hollywood, clean, rah, rah, rah. I don't know. And Michael J. Fox at his absolute peak. You know, like,
do you remember Used Cars?
I do. Yeah.
That's a great movie. It's like one of his early things. That's, I mean, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell plays a used car salesman. It's really funny. And he worked a lot with Spielberg, you know, so he's in that vein of that super high-end populist popcorn filmmaking.
Yes.
Then he started doing things like, sort of like motion capture, like Beowulf and the Polar Express, that were kind of like cringy. Roger Rabbit, which I never liked, but you know, it's an interesting movie. Yeah. And then did he do Contact? Was that him? The one with the Carl Sagan?
Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah.
That was,
Jodie Foster. So here he's teamed up with Tom Hanks again, who is his, one of his big stars in this film called Here, Here, also starring Robin Wright and Paul Bettany. And I think I know it's basically takes place in one space, so I don't think the camera moves much. So that's kind of like, you will see from the trailer here. I think that's what it is. So let's check out the trailer.
He's always been a bit experimental. I like that about him, but sometimes it just kind of doesn't work, you know?
He's trying. We'll see. He's trying to push the medium, and it doesn't always work. Someone has to.
Exactly. So let's give it a shot.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Dad. Like you to meet Margaret.
Nice to meet you, Margaret.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Young.
So de-aging.
Time does fly, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Yes, music.
Make the White Queen run so fast. She hasn't got time to make you.
What is happening? It's not what I expected. Okay.
Right here is where we want to be.
Okay, I get it.
You know, if you like, you could spend the rest of the night here.
I could spend the rest of my life here.
Okay.
This was our home. We lived here.
That was interesting. So yes, you're right. Camera did not move, and we just see what's happening in that exact same space the entire time. Doesn't move.
So it starts with the dinosaurs and goes as the house is built, and obviously concentrates on his family or his parents and all that kind of stuff. So it's an interesting idea. I don't know.
Came before him, I guess, because it looked like there were other families. I like the idea of think about where your house is right now. If you're sitting on what was here, back in dinosaur days, what was happening right here?
Right.
It's kind of an interesting idea.
Maybe underwater.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that. Remember that British series Ghosts, where the house is haunted, but it's haunted by a caveman as well as somebody that died a few years ago. So it's that came to my head.
That was really funny.
Like everything is happening, way before the house is built or whatever. So that's kind of an interesting idea. I don't know if that can hold up for a whole, feature, but I mean, Zemeckis can do it, obviously, and he's got the money to make it really interesting and look. I thought the de-aging looked good to me. I mean,
did.
it
It
looked,
looked better than
like
most.
Tom Hanks when
Yeah.
he was younger,
Yeah.
because we can remember that from like Bosom Buddies and Splash and all those old times. It sort of looked like him.
There's
Yeah.
plenty of reference, you
Yep.
know, of him, and we also know what he looked like, you know. So it's
Right.
like if they got it wrong, we'd be like, "That's not right."
Yeah,
Right,
that was
right,
pretty
right.
interesting. I mean, you know, you're automatically just looking for the weaknesses. Like when you see that, you're trying to look. And I was trying not to do that. I was trying to let it happen. And you know, usually get the uncanny valley thing, but they really didn't. So I mean, I guess the real actors are probably doing it, and they
Yeah,
you know did that on top of those. So you didn't get, at least the eyes were still expressive in there and present. You know, so it looks
Yeah.
like I'll give it to Zemeckis. He's trying something new.
yeah,
He's always kind of trying to do something different. Like he's
yeah.
Right.
even like Forrest Gump was about, what a concept, right? So he's a big concept guy.
Right.
So I'll give him points for trying to move out there. I wish once in a while he would just calm down and just do something normal, just little movie. Like I would like to have just
a normal
seen-
movie.
Just calm down, Zemeckis. If he just had like a relationship movie, with Tom Hanks, like going through time, like even just that would have been fun. But I'm interested in seeing this whole concept of a camera staying still and everything moving in front of it. It's kind of an interesting idea.
And also telling stories of whole lives and whole
Mhm.
generations and all that. You remember that animated film Up?
Sure. Yeah.
The opening sequence of that was so beautifully done, and
So good.
and it's like what a just that opening part
Yeah.
is such a beautiful
It's-
piece of filmmaking and storytelling.
Yeah.
And this maybe is a feature film version of that type of feeling of
Yeah.
the nostalgia. There was a shot where he's got the 8mm movie camera with all the bright lights.
Oh,
Yeah.
my dad had that. Yeah.
It's like,
So funny.
sure.
You used to have to burn everybody's retinas.
Look at the camera. I can't.
Yeah.
Christmas morning, 7 a.m. Like your dad go, come down the stairs. You're blinded.
And when you look at those old movies, that's why everybody in those movies is like this.
It'd be funny if they tie into that where it's like, I can't see.
Yeah.
That's so funny. But it looks fun. It looks like it's a perfect time for it. It'll be Christmas, families together. You can go see this really heartwarming, fun thing about the holidays.
And it's got
It is what it
music.
is.
The music is great too. That was Yes, one of my favorite bands, and it's a great old Yes song.
And the trailer was good when they had the music and then sort of like doing the folding over of all the
Yeah.
stuff. I thought it just looked nice. And Robin Wright looked at the early shot. I said, is that
Yeah.
Robin Wright? Because she looked like she was 18 years old or something.
Yeah.
It was like,
Good.
really well done.
Yeah. It was.
And it was
Yeah.
kind of touching, the very last scene where they come in as an old couple, and
Yeah.
she's obviously doesn't have all there, and he goes, we used to
Yeah.
live here, and that's super touching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really sweet. Yeah.
This was our home.
Yeah.
A movie about getting old. Good time.
Yeah.
I know.
I'll do that.
I know.
But, there's a thing I used to sometimes when I go back to the town I grew up in, sometimes I'll drive down the street and see the house that I grew up in, and I'm like, it's funny. It used to be really kind of nostalgic and heartbreaking. Now, when I go back there, I don't really have to go see it because now it's belonged to someone else longer than
Mhm.
I lived there. I've lived away from that place a lot longer than I lived there, and it's like I have other things in my life, other places that have more nostalgia. I think that's the thing when you go through a life. You have these different eras, and it's interesting in this movie. It looks like the ground zero of all the nostalgia is that living room, that room where so much happened over the years. So the people like kept the house or something. It got passed down through the family, and
Right.
Yeah.
It looks I don't know. I think it's like you said, Kathy, it's like he likes to try something new, and he's obviously accomplished filmmaker, so hopefully you're in good hands, and it looks like the effects look good, so we're not going to be
right.
uncanny valley world of like it's creepy to watch it. So I think that seems like a good Thanksgiving release movie. I think
You have to put your trust in Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. and Robert Zemeckis, it's like, is this going to be the one that people are, that everybody, the unanimous, wow, it's great. It's a great film. He's back.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But we'll see. You always hope for that. Hope for
always
big
hope for
stuff
that.
from good filmmakers. So it also stars Gwillem Lee, who I'll just make. I saw him in the recent horror film Oddity, which I highly recommend.
Oh.
and great film. And he was really good in it. And I know he's been in some other show that I think, Kathy, you mentioned. He was in something. Was it Vikings, maybe?
Yes, I think it was
Yeah,
Vikings.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Here, Coming There, November 15th.
Here, Coming There. Coming where?
Here, there, and everywhere. Cue the Beatles,
It'll be
Okay.
fun for the holidays. Enjoy it with your families. Okay.
Exactly. All right, everybody.
Bye.
That's cool.
See ya.